I am Coach RAC, Robert Anthony Cruz. I make content on social media with the goal of inspiring the next generation of young ball players. There's a lot going on, man. Yeah, a little overwhelming making my rounds. Like, I had no idea there were this many companies even. Yeah, my experience on with seeing brands in person has been very limited. So it's been a little eye-opening seeing how much is going on. Yeah, it's been awesome though. It's cool. Absolutely. I first heard about Rapsodo in college. Our pitchers use the pitching 2.0 unit. And so when I started making content, I was like, man, I always wanted to be able to see my metrics while I'm in the cage, because I would almost exclusively want to hit on the field so that I could see the ball trajectory, so I could see whether I'm back spinning or front spinning, top spinning the ball. And it's something you can't really see in a cage. And so when I started making content, I was like, well, that was right after I'd been released by the Nationals. And so I wasn't sure if I would play baseball again. But from a development standpoint, I was like, man, I wish during my career I had access to something like a Rapsodo, because then I would be able to see these metrics that I want to see, and I could hit by myself in the cage and get the feedback that I would ordinarily need to go onto a field to see. So yeah, after making content for a few months, it started taking off, and I was like, okay, I got, a pretty substantial following that is building. But again, social media marketing is so new. So I was like, all right, shoot, I'm going to DM Rapsodo and I'm going to email them and hopefully something comes out of it. And I think that was right around when you got hired. And so it just worked out timing wise. But as of right now, how I use Rapsodo, it is to see obviously my exit velocity as I'm working in the cage, see my launch angle. I also really like seeing the spin rate and spin axis. That tells me a lot about my swing. Especially for me, like my tendency is to fall onto my front side, and that usually results in pull side ground balls, or it results in inside out flare fly balls to the opposite field. And that's something that I can very easily see using my Rapsodo in my cage. So that's probably the main way that I use it. I've gotten to check it out a little bit, yes, but I don't know the full rundown on it yet. The look of it is incredible. I love it. The design is sleek. And yeah, tell me about it. Cause I mean, I see the hitting and the pitching side. What's new with this one? Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see that. Cause yeah, again, I got the pitching and the hitting unit. Now having it all in one is awesome. And yeah, can't beat the look of it either. So no, not at all. And that's something that I've said, like, it's fell into my lap. When I got signed, I had that video telling my dad that I got signed, and that video just took off, and that got me over 100,000 followers overnight. And I was like, wow, all right. I had no intentions of being a social media guy per se. But that just kind of worked out, and I had a background growing up in photography and videography. And so when I got released by the Nationals, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I have good information to share, and I think I have the technical knowledge with cameras and stuff to make it happen. So at the time, my wife and I had been living at my parents' house. I was like, you know what, Gigi, if you can hang on for 6 months, I think I could get this thing off the ground. I'm going to make a video every single day and see where it takes me. And so I did that, and that was now about a year and a half ago. And here we are, full-time thing, and I really love it. It's humbling, and it's also sobering. It's kind of like, wow, okay, I have a impact on a lot of people's lives that could be used for good or bad. And so yeah, I'm very mindful of what I post, especially after these kinds of interactions. It's like, okay, I have the things that I say actually do have an impact, and sometimes you don't notice that or realize that until you come to a place like this and walk around and people stop you everywhere, and it's like, okay, yeah, I do have an impact. So yeah, it's cool to see that stuff, and also kind of inspires me to keep doing it, and to keep doing it well. My buddy Ange and I always say is we want to play long-term games with long-term people. And so with that, yeah, every Tuesday we meet up with a bunch of different content creators, mostly in the baseball sphere, but also in other places. And we just want to learn from each other. If we can learn from 12 people's mistakes at once, we'll grow a lot faster. And that's something I always say in my videos, let's grow, right? And so yeah, in light of that, yeah, we meet up every Tuesday. We talk content. We just want to get better at it. I don't think social media is going anywhere. I think it continues to trend upwards, and that's what I found with my own page. And so it seems that my influence will continue to grow, and with that, I want to do a good job with it, and I don't want to become stagnant. There's something I learned in baseball too. I guess if you want to go quickly, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with people. And so that's kind of the motto behind that. But yeah, so I feel like I'm in this for the long run. I really do enjoy it. So yeah, this week was awesome. It is so much fun. I mean, we had legitimately about 10 parents in tears by the end of it. Good ones. And kids too. And it's like, yeah, the more we do these, the more we realize we have, again, realize our impact. And beyond that though, like, so with these camps, this is the third one we've done. We first got the idea a year and a half ago. And the idea was all these kids see these social media influencers online all the time. What if we can connect with them in person? And what if we can mentor them in person? And what kind of impact would we have if we did that? And what we're realizing is a lot of these people who make content on social media, they have just as much influence, if not more, than a lot of people in professional sports. So with that influence and impact that we have, you know, kids think we're cool. So we can say the same things that the kids' parents are telling them, and it'll just land differently with the kids. And so that's a huge impact that we can have. So we had our first camp January of last year. And then, you know, obviously we had our second one, and Rapsodo actually has been a part of the first two. And so we just had our third one now here in Dallas, and it was awesome. We stayed up last night with the coaches actually till about 4 a.m. talking about how cool it was and what our plans are moving forward. So we've got some really cool things on the horizon, and yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah. When I got released and I was trying to find another team to play, this was before I started really going after social media. I remember telling my wife, I was like, gosh, I just don't feel like I'm done playing. And I'm sure everybody feels like that when they get, you know, released or cut. But I just really felt like there was still something there. So I guess the past year and a half, I've stayed in shape best I can to play baseball, not knowing whether or not I'd ever play again. And I had kind of let go of that dream of playing professionally. And funny enough, about end of September, early October, a buddy of mine, Coach Murph, he's one of the coaches at ABCA, he was like, hey man, the Bananas are having a tryout in LA. You have to apply for it. They got thousands of applicants. They only pick a few to go try out, but try it if you want, you should do it. And I was like, man, I'm good. I don't really want to, you know. And a couple days later, they released their schedule for the upcoming year, and they had Fenway Park on there and, Citizens Bank Park. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, over that week, I talked about it with my wife, and I was like, you know what? I'll go try out. Like, it's already a long shot that they pick my application. So I did like a very low effort application, submitted it, and they picked me to go try out. So I was like, all right. I'll go to the tryout and see how it goes. Hadn't seen live pitching in over a year for the most part. And so, but the tryout went amazing. I felt like it couldn't have gone any better. You know, I have a background in gymnastics. I do like to dance, even though you wouldn't expect it. And, so it just seemed like such a perfect fit. And sure enough, you know, I got a spot on the Bananas. So yeah, I leave actually in less than a week. I'm going to drive out to Savannah, Georgia. My wife and I are going to move out there for the season. Yeah, that's the next chapter. It's right now kind of the calm before the storm, but I got a lot to learn really quickly. We got 1 month till our first game, and we'll only have about 3 weeks to train before that. So we're going to hit the ground running. I'm trying to get in shape right now. So a good coach, I think, is a coach that doesn't just make you better at baseball, but prepares you better for life. And this is a theme that I keep seeing. Baseball does end for everybody at some point in time, whether you like it or not. And so for some guys, if they're lucky, that's when they're 24. For other guys, if they're really blessed, that's when they're 40. But most kids don't play past high school. And so with a coach, you can make a lifelong lasting impact on a kid in that leadership position. And so I think for a coach, if you can just positively impact the trajectory of not just someone's career, but their life, I think that's what makes a really good coach. And so some of those qualities, I think, are servant leadership, coaches who can serve and not just boss everybody around. I think coaches who can have an active conversation with a player opposed to being a dictator. I think those are some qualities that coaches should have. And I also think that coaches should, in their own life, with their own personal character, represent, just be a role model to the players. I think that's what they should be. So I think in light of, the Nationals Coaches Day, like that's what I'm thinking of as some of the most impactful things a coach can do. It's funny. I never thought that I would coach. When I got released from baseball, I thought I didn't want anything to do with baseball ever again. I've already given advice to my younger self. It's cliche, but trust the process. And beyond that, just know that whatever stage of life you're in, you have an opportunity to either develop good or bad characteristics. And maybe you're not where you want to be, but you can still be faithful with where you have been placed, and that will build character that will benefit you regardless of what the next stage of life is. So for me, you know, as I'm living with my parents and trying to make these videos, and it's like, obviously that's not where I wanted to be financially, career-wise, but I think I was able to develop patience and humility and a work ethic that I think now is still benefiting me today. And so I think that whether you're a coach or whether you're a player, having that perspective that there is no wasted day, you can be faithful wherever you have been placed, and you can choose to either build the right character or move in the opposite direction. So I guess that'd be my general advice.